Hello students and welcome to the section. Welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we have started the static part of various topics and till now we have covered some topics of the environmental studies. Okay. So in this lecture, we are going to continue with the environmental studies and we will finish this topic. Okay. So let's start. So basically in this lecture, we are going to discuss about water policy, which was formulated in the year of 1987. Okay, but before this, I would like to share some points with you, and also I will try to get a little bit revision techniques for you so that you can learn the topic effectively. Okay, so if we talk about India, then India having two water resources, fresh water and marine water. Okay, so if we look at marine water resources first, then we will find that if this is the southern part of India, then it having two water bodies. First is Bay of Bengal, second is Arabian Sea. Okay, and if we talk about the total coastal land of India, total coastal land, या फिर we can say total coastal length of India, then it is nearly about, it is a question. Now it is the question. Actually, I was willing to tell you, but now I think that it should be the question for you. Okay, so now I am asking you, what is the total length of Indian coast? Okay, I am giving you 20 seconds to think about it, then I will tell you the answer. So your time starts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Your time's up. So the total coastal land of India is 7,500 kilometers. Okay. Now again, I'm going to ask you the question, which state has the maximum coastal length? Now again, I'm going to ask you the same question, or little bit modified. In the previous question, I had asked you the total length. In this question, I'm asking you the state which having the maximum coastal length. Okay, again I'm going to provide you 20 seconds, then I will tell you the answer. Your time starts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So the answer is Gujarat. Okay, so total coastal length is 7,500 kilometers. Gujarat is the state which having the most of the coastal length. Okay, so here we have finished about the maritime resources. Now, what about fresh water? What about fresh water? Okay, so basically India having two type of water system, peninsular river system and Himalayan river system. Now I am going to giving you a question again. What is the difference between peninsular and the Himalayan? And because the difference is little bit big, then I'm going to provide you 30 seconds. Then I will tell you the answer. Your time starts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Your time's up. So 30 seconds it was. Okay. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So basically, if we talk about the peninsular, first we will start with the peninsular part. Then you can say peninsular are seasonal river seasonal rivers, maximum water during rainy seasons. Okay. Second point, they are older than Himalayan rivers. They are older than Himalayan rivers. Okay. So this is about the peninsula. Okay. And they are mostly found in south and central parts. So this is about the peninsular river system. Okay. Now it's time for the Himalayan river system. Himalayan river system. Then basically they are annual rivers, or you can say they are full-time rivers. They are not seasonal. The water remains full-time in them. Or most appropriate word is perennial. These are perennial rivers. Okay. Thereafter, second point is that they are younger than peninsular rivers. Okay. And the third and the last point is that they are mainly concentrated in north part. Okay. So you can say Himalayan river system, they are annual river system or the perennial river systems. Water remain in them throughout the year. Second point, they are younger than the peninsular rivers. Third point, they are mainly concentrated in northern part. Okay. So here we have done a little bit revision. Okay. So when we are going to talk about the water policies, then basically we are going to talk about all these things which I have told you. Okay. So the first thing provided by the water policy of 1987 is integrated water resource management, short IWRM. Okay. So the policy emphasizes the adoption of an integrated water resource management approach, involves coordinating, planning and management of all aspects of water resources, including surface water, groundwater and rainwater. Okay. So basically we know that surface water is like this. This is the surface water. Okay. And then if these are the city, there is a road going on, and then there is a rain coming down like this, and water getting accumulated at the places, then it is a rainwater. But how does the groundwater forms? Is the water coming inside from the earth? The answer is no. Basically what happened during the groundwater formations, this is your land. Sorry. This is your land. Okay. Inland, there are certain point which allow the surface water to go inside. Okay. There are certain points in the earth crust or lithosphere which allowed waters to goes down, and then this water accumulated inside the ground and formed a ground water part. All right. And these areas are generally found in the area of limestone, and you can say, if you remember, sedimentary rocks. Okay. So you can say sedimentary rocks are generally porous in nature. So that's why they allow surface water to get accumulated inside the earth, forms a part of ground water. All right. So the first one, which is the integrated water resource management, it is provide for the coordination, planning and management of all aspects of water resources, whether it's surface, groundwater and the rainwater. Okay. Now let's move forward. Thereafter, we have sustainable use. Okay. It advocates for the sustainable and equitable use of water resources, taking into consideration the needs of both present and future generation. Okay. Same like the other resources we have. Same like the other resources we have, the water is also in a limited quantity. The water is also in a limited quantity. Okay. So most of the time, the question arises in our mind is that why we call water in limited quantity? Because if we look at the earth's surface, then about 77% is a water and only 23% is a land on which we are living in. Okay. So if we looked on these data, then we will find water surface is more than the land surface. But many times you have listened save water or use water limitedly. These type of words you have seen. So most of you get confused that if we have this much of water, then why should we care about it? Because the water, as I have told you, is divided into two forms. First is the fresh water. Second is the marine water or the sea water. Okay. So this sea water contains salts and chemicals, natural chemicals, which are not suitable for humans and other creatures, as well as the ecosystem on land. Basically, you can say the terrestrial ecosystem or land ecosystem, various crops and agricultures where the marine water could not be used. Okay. Remaining fresh water is fits for all aspects. Fits for all aspects. Okay. So that's why fresh water is necessary. And fresh water is nearly about only 3%. Okay. So whenever you are seeing the articles, you're seeing the slogans like save water, drink water in a responsible manner, use water in the responsible manner. These slogans are talking about this 3%, not that 77%. All right. So when we are going for sustainable development, again, I will make the same example like generation 1, like generation 2, like generation 3, like generation 4. Okay. So generation 5 and generation 6. Okay. So we could say the water has been passed to the generation 2, thereafter generation 3, and now we are using it in generation 4. So it's our responsibility because the fresh water which could be used by us is only 3%. Okay. So it's our responsibility to use this water in a manner so that it could be passed on generation 4, generation 5 and generation 6, which is necessary for survival of life. Okay. Because water is just not only using by the human beings, but various animals and other creatures also using the water. Also the plants and plantations uses the water. All right. So that's why the sustainable uses is important, which means efficient water use in agriculture, industry and the households. All right. Thereafter, now let's move forward. Now we have conservation of water. Okay, so this policies encourages the conservation of water resources through measures such as rainwater harvesting, watershed management, and recharging of groundwater. So basically, if you have noticed in your household or not, but it is practicing in these areas, various areas, which is very famous, known as the rainwater or rainwater harvestings. Okay, so basically what's happened in this time, it is just a one example which I'm giving you. Whenever the rain comes, then the roofs are designed in this manner so that the water would be accumulated on the rooftop. Okay, then there would be some pipe which is connected with the rooftop and going to a well. Okay, so from the rooftop, the water will travel through the pipe and finally will get accumulated in the tank and pit we have drafted. Okay, then this water would be used further. It is the first scenario which I am telling you. Okay, it is also known as roof rainwater harvesting. Okay, because the water is conserved on the rooftop. Thereafter, it's went to the well and the tanks which you have made. Okay. Second scenario generally focus in the areas where less rainfall occurs. So in those areas, what we did, we generally uses the well or the tanks. Okay, in which the water get accumulated during rainy seasons. Okay, during rainy seasons, the water get accumulated in these well and tanks. Okay, and when we need, we use them. So it is the rainwater harvesting, then means that we should conserve the rainwater. Okay, thereafter, when we go to the watershed management, then basically it means, so basically what do you mean by watershed? We must understand them. Okay, suppose if this is a land area, okay, this is the land area. So basically we know that rivers originated from the mountains, flows through the land, okay, and then eventually they got merged into oceans or sea. Okay, so the path they travel known as basin or watershed. The first is the river basin, second is a watershed area. Okay, so watershed management basically means effective usage of water during path of river before merging with ocean. Okay, so simply means that we should use the water effectively when the river is on the land. Okay, because once it gets discharged into ocean, this fresh water will be turned into salt water. Okay, so before this process, if we are able to use the water, then it is a watershed management. All right. Similarly, if we talk about the recharging groundwater, then basically it means when we use the groundwater, we should also ensure that water should be absorbed by ground also. Okay, so we should not make more concrete structures. All right, because the concrete structures covers the ground, and that's why the ground is not able to absorb the water. Okay, because of this, the groundwater level will eventually fall down. But if there is no concrete, there is no cement and solid items on ground, then groundwater will be able to absorb more and more water. Okay, so that's how we conserve the water under water policy of 1987. All right, now let's move forward. Water pollution is the main concerns. Like in the previous lecture, I had told you, suppose this is a factory, this is a factory, and this is a water stream running from it. Okay, then what this factory was doing, as per our previous lecture, this factory was discharging its chemical waste and various harmful waste direct into the water, and the people who were consuming this water get affected. Okay, and also the various creatures, and you can say the aquatic life of water, the aquatic life which lives below the water or inside the water streams. Okay, so the polluted water is not only harmful for the humans but also harmful for the aquatic life or the life below the water streams. Okay, because of this, our ecological balance will be affected. Okay, so we are not only provided the provision of pollution control under Water Policy Act 1987. If you remember, in the new, or you can say not new, in the National Environment Policy, which formulated in the year of, this is your question, I'm giving 15 seconds, answer it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, time's up. This was formulated in the year of 2006, if you remember. Okay, and this, under this, what we have provided? We have provided if XYZ affected resources like water, then XYZ is liable to pay compensation. Okay, and remediation cost. Okay, if there is a factory XYZ, and because of this XYZ factory, the natural resource like water in this case get affected, so this XYZ is liable to pay the compensation to the persons who got affected. Also, it will be liable to pay the remediation cost which is required to restore the original condition. Okay, so this provision was also provided into National Environment Policy 2006. All right, now move forward. Thereafter, we have the provision of equity and social justice. Policy recognizes the need to ensure equitable access to water resources, particularly for marginalized and vulnerable communities. It promotes social justice and inclusive water resource management. So basically, if I take you to the civics part, then you must remember in Article 17, we had discussed about untouchability. Remember? We had discussed the word of untouchability. And basically, now I'm going to provide you the third question. It's not third exactly, but I'm going to provide you the question during which kingdom untouchability originated. It's my question. During which kingdom the untouchability originated. Your time starts now. You have 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Your time's up. So it was the Gupta Empire. Okay. So during the Gupta Empire, untouchability word was first came into existence. Okay. So basically, there was a concept with the untouchables, like they had to live outside the villages. Okay. And were not allowed to use public resources. Okay. And you can say the water resources are also comes under public resources. Okay. Like pond, lakes, rivers, they all are public resources. Anyone can use them. Okay. But because untouchables were not allowed to use their public sources, that's why the water policy of 1987 had a provision for them, like equity and social justice, which ensure the need to ensure equitable access to water resources, particularly for the marginalized and vulnerable communities, or in short, you can say the untouchables. All right. It's promote social justice and inclusive water resource management. Okay. Now let's move forward. Thereafter, again, the community participation, we had discussed about it many times. Like if you want to conserve the environment in a real scenario, you required basically people. Okay. If the people are interested to be with you in the conservation of environment, you will have a great age or upper age. Okay. But if people are not with you, you're not able to get them. Okay. So this policy encourages the active involvement of local communities who are using these resources, because I have told you, if there was a person who didn't have any interest and usage in the resources A by C, so if you go to them and you ask him, kindly participate with us, he will say no, because he do not have any interest in it. But the people who are using the ABC and you go and ask them, they will say yes, because they have their interest. So that's why local communities participation is very, very important in the decision making process, in the planning and the management. Okay. It includes the promotion of participatory irrigation management. Okay. Basically, irrigation is used in the agriculture. Okay. All right. So students, in this lecture, we have finished the environmental studies. In the next lecture, we will come with a different topic. Till then, I want you all to revise all the facts and figures we have discussed in this lecture, so that you will find yourself in a better position during your examination as well as during the upcoming lectures, which we will be discussing. With this note, let's end the session and thank you.